Morgan, reflexes dulled by lack of sleep, didn't even twitch until he heard the door go boom. Then his heartbeat went heavy like a stone. It is what every prison officer waits for. It is what he has been trained and trained again to avoid. It is what he always believes can never happen to him because he's too well trained. But he isn't, and it can. And now it had. Fowler let Morgan see the blade, holding it up proudly like a kid with a new box of Lego. He jabbed the air a couple of times to show how he'd use the knife if provoked. Morgan eyed the cell's alarm button just beside Fowler's shoulder. Fowler registered the glance. "Don't even think about it, fella. Get over to the bed. Nah, first drop them up and kick it over here to me." Russell Morgan did as he was told. A blade over a mop was superior force. There was no weapon he could use now except his tongue. He moved slowly, reached the bed, his shins touching the frame. "And don't look at me. Look at the wall." He looked at the wall. A line of graffiti had been written there, in pencil. It said, "Paranoia is a conspiracy of the unafraid." It was the last thing he knew before a thudding blow struck him exactly where the back of his skull connected with his neck. A fork of scarlet lightning gashed his brain, and then velvet blackness descended. In his office, Gary Marshall, Barfield's deputy governor, was sipping coffee and wondering when the governor would put in an appearance. He'd muttered something about an outside appointment yesterday, which usually meant the golf course. The man was besotted by the ridiculous game. Marshall picked up a fax that had just come in about Victor Tarzan Braithwaite and was inserting it on his clipboard just as Len Syons, wing governor of Sea Wing, knocked and walked in. Marshall waved a hand at the coffee machine. "Hi, Len. Help yourself. Seen Keller? Bit early yet, ain't it? I wanted to fill him in on Tarzan, our jungle bunny." Syons grinned as he helped himself to a cup. "White but not too fluffy, that one, eh, Gary?" Marshall ran his eye over the fax. "He's due today, God help us. Since leaving us in 1994, he's been in Wakefield, Strangeways, Walton, Highdown, Belmarsh, Lincoln, the Scrubs, Winson Green, Lincoln again, Bullingdon, Full Sutton, Frankland. The guy's been in more nicks than Lord bloody Longford. Unbelievable. Only lasted 10 days in Bullingdon, 8 in Frankland." "Well, we know what'll happen," added Syons, as the phone on Marshall's desk started to chirrup. "He'll go straight on the block. Not going to take no chances there, are we?" Marshall picked up the phone. "No way. Yeah? Speaking." The voice on the other end squawked urgently, and Marshall's face changed. It went rigid for a second, and he stood up as if activated by a spring. When he spoke, he was practically bawling into the phone. "Where's Dr. Williams? What? Newgate House? Shit. Okay, I'll have to find someone else." He cradled the phone and scrubbed his face with his open hands. "Jesus." "What's happened?" asked Syons. "Tarzan here already?" "Nah, worse than that, Len. Come on." Marshall led the way out of the room. Mrs. Gill, the governor's secretary, was standing at her filing cabinet. With a supreme effort, Marshall managed not to shout. "Somebody find the governor ASAP and contact Dr. Cameron Williams. Get him back here." Mrs. Gill preferred to project an unflappable manner, suggesting superior knowledge of such important questions as the governor's unspoken wishes, the veiled policies of HQ, the mind of God. She thought Marshall was coarse, an over-promoted NCO to be handled with coolness bordering on disdain, but now his agitated appearance startled her. "What's going on?" "And I want the records of a new inmate, arrived today, George Fowler. I'll contact HQ, press office, police. There's a hostage being taken in healthcare, and it's Russell Morgan. Where's the governor?"